With this new discovery, maybe the Hell Creek and Lake Cretaceous weren't as empty as we thought. Hey guys, welcome back to the Prehistoric Life podcast. I'm your host, Eric Crawford, and today we're talking about Nanotyrannus lethaeus or lethaeus, because you can pronounce it either way, meaning dwarf tyrant or forgetfulness or small tyrant of the river of oblivion. Love the metal name, absolutely love it. It's such an awesome name. This beauty was recently discovered. Is the new Nanotyrannus that was discovered, if I did my research right. So it is a small tyrannosaur living in the late Cretaceous alongside Tyrannosaurus rex, possibly thought to have been a juvenile T-Rex, filling up that niche of juvenile T-Rex, while also being its new thing. So we have to completely relook at T-Rex. Nanotyrannus is coming out. Nanotyrannus, specifically lethaeus, is coming at 7 feet tall, 13 feet long, and a whopping weight of 0.75 to 1.2 tons. Still got some heavy weight on it. Its diet was interesting. It is an agile pursuit predator, unlike its larger bone-crushing cousin, Tyrannosaurus rex. Nanotyrannus was a slender, fast, and agile hunter. It was built for speed, with longer legs and shorter arms for grasping prey. The prey it likely preyed on was smaller, swifter animals that the massive T-Rex found difficult to catch. Potential prey included young or small dinosaurs such as duck-billed hadrosaurs and ceratopsians like Triceratops, which were abundant in the region. The teeth. Its long snout was equipped with many blade-like serrated teeth, which were ideal for slicing and tearing flesh rather than crushing bone. The hunting strategy, it was a stereoscopic vision, aiding in predation. Some theories, though based on speculative behavior, suggest they may have hunted in packs to take down larger game or targeted vulnerable young animals. So it's reshaped what we thought the younger T-Rex niche filled. And stereoscopic vision is the ability to perceive depth and a three-dimensional 3D world by combining slight different images from each eye. The brain processes the mirror differences known as binocular disparity between the two 2D images to create a single identified 3D perception. This is a fundamental aspect of binocular vision, crucial for tasks requiring accurate distance judgment, and it is also the principle behind stereoscopic technology like 3D movies and virtual reality. So the Nanotyrannus also had 3D, but binocular vision like Tyrannosaurus, meaning the eyes were in the front of its head, which means if Nanotyrannus is looking at you, it's looking at you. And it was faster, more likely, than Tyrannosaurus rex, I'm willing to say. So, good luck. The formation it was found in is the Hell Creek Formation in Montana, Wyoming, Nevada, North Dakota, and South Dakota, that kind of area, but more prominently in Montana. Nanotyrannus fossils have been found in Montana, USA, specifically within the Hell Creek Formation. The species name lethaeus refers to both the Hell Creek Formation and the mythological River of Forgetfulness, and the holotype specimen was discovered in Montana alongside the dueling dinosaurs, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Montana, USA. The original skull of Nanotyrannus lethaeus was found in Lance Formation in Montana in 1942. Hell Creek Formation again. The fossils that support Nanotyrannus being a distinct genus, including the dueling dinosaur specimen, were found in the Hell Creek Formation of Montana, North Carolina now. On the other side, recent research with the validity Nanotyrannus as a separate genus and identified the two species in Lancensis and lethaeus heavily utilize a complete skeleton of lethaeus from the Hell Creek Formation that is now housed at the North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences, which we have done an interview with Eric Lund, the head of the public of the dueling dinosaurs, if you will. If you want to go check that out, I'll link it somewhere up top so you can see it. But how cool would it be to go out and actually see fossil sites like this? Huge shout out to today's sponsor, Dinosaur Trips. If you enjoy these majestic creatures I talk about here on the podcast and would like to go see them for yourself, I would heavily recommend Dinosaur Trips. Dinosaur Trips is a company created to give people a behind-the-scenes in-look on museums and dig sites, along with just having an amazing time looking at these amazing, fabulous, majestic creatures. So if you sound interested, go to www.dinosaurtrips.com and tell them Prehistoric Life sent you and get $250 off your tickets. Now, back to the show. Nanotyrannus comes around in the very upper Cretaceous, 67 to 66 million years ago, seeing the KT extinction, seeing the meteorite hit, just absolutely obliterating it. So, I mean, and as we were talking about the dueling dinosaurs, it was discovered by Clayton Phipps, which we have done an interview with. I'll link that in the top for those who want to go see it. Mark Eatman and Chad O'Connor, who are the dueling dinosaurs were discovered in 2006 by rancher and fossil hunter Clayton Phipps and his partners Mark Eatman and Chad O'Connor in Montana. And they, like I said, put the fossils in, or they sent the fossils to North Carolina Museum of Natural History to allow them to study them. And now we have Nanotyrannus lethaeus. But the dueling dinosaurs does not end there. I should have probably added another slide there because there's a lot to it, because we don't really know how they died, if you will, how they got covered in whatever, what this shows. So the scientific certainty, the high percentage of completeness combined with the fact that its skeleton was largely articulated, bones found in their natural place, allowed researchers to study the entire body proportion that confirmed that it was a distinct animal. Nanotyrannus was not a young T-Rex. Histology. The completeness provides enough material to perform osteohistology, bone growth ring analysis, which determined the animal was a nearly skeletally mature adult, estimated to be around 20 years old, despite its smaller size. Expectation preservation. The rapid burial that resulted in the dueling dinosaur entanglement also led to preservation of rare details, including reported skin impressions and potentially even internal tissues, which is almost unheard of for such a large dinosaur. So the dueling dinosaurs are a very, very rare sight. But Nanotyrannus was also officially named and coined. I don't want to say coined. That doesn't sound right. Was discovered by Lindsay Zano and James Napoli. I really hope I'm pronouncing their names right. If I'm not, I am so sorry. they are, of course, vertebrate paleontologists. And paleontologist Lindsay and James described the new species Nanotyrannus lethaeus in a November 2025 study identifying the fossils known as Jane as belonging to this new species rather than being a juvenile T-Rex. The study formally named the species lethaeus based on the distinct features which differ from the previously named Nanotyrannus lethaeus. And it is estimated to be over 98% complete by bone count. The rapid burial that resulted in the dueling dinos entanglement also led to preservation of rare details, including reported skin impressions and potentially even internal tissues, which is almost unheard of for such large dinosaurs. And there's the holotype Bloody Mary specimen in CSM for 40,000. And the three major theories for how it got covered and it got preserved so well was a massive tsunami devastating coastal regions globally. So since this was Montana along the Hell Creek Formation, it could have been a huge flood, or if it was closer to whatever beach there was in the Western Interior Seaway, tsunami like this is saying from an earthquake, which covered it all very rapidly with settlement, allowing it to fossilize very beautifully. Widespread fires ignited by a heat pulse, widespread fires ignited by a heat pulse that just put ash everywhere, kind of, that quickly covered them and suffocated them and whatever. Or a global winter, dust and aerosols thrown into the atmosphere blocked the sun, leading to a long period of darkness and cooling, which caused a collapse of plant life and the food chain. Or, the famous global winter at the end of the KT extinction that killed everything else, if you will. But yeah. So if you want your hands on a cast of a Nanotyrannus skull, my boy Dinosaur Skeletons can hook you up. Go give this man some love. Go buy one of these awesome replicas. There, you can get the full-size, slightly more expensive Nanotyrannus lethaeus skull. They are lethaeus instead of lethaeus, but it's still Nanotyrannus, and it's still really cool. It's 60 centimeters, 23.6 inches, one-piece skull replica. Or you can get the Nanotyrannus desktop collectible, 22 centimeters in length. It is a desktop collectible, 22 centimeters in length, of a life-size 60 centimeter, 23.6 inch, one-piece skeletal replica. So you can get the larger one, which is the darker one up top, or the lighter one, or the smaller one, which is the lighter one on the bottom. I heavily suggest, if you are going to go get a Nanotyrannus skull, go check this guy out. He does amazing, beautiful work. It's worth it. If you follow my account, you probably like dinosaurs, fossils in the prehistoric world. And if you have ever shopped for fossils, you'll see that a lot of them have some very high prices, rightfully so, because they are usually one-of-a-type specimen. Then you go look for casts, and you see a lot of these low-quality casts going around, so you just don't know what to do. You either have to buy something super expensive or something super low quality. Enter Dinosaur Skeletons. Dinosaur Skeletons specializes in creating museum-quality replicas of prehistoric life and is renowned for its highly detailed reconstructions. Founded by a professional paleo artist with over a decade of experience in the collectibles industry, they are dedicated to providing enthusiasts, collectors, and institutions with the opportunity to own magnificent, lifelike prehistoric replicas. Each creation is crafted with exceptional care and attention to detail. This means they are highly accurate to their source material, super high quality, and museum grade level quality. This is probably the closest you could get to bringing home a museum exhibit. They're also fairly affordable for the accuracy and quality put into it, which also means they make great gifts for birthdays and holidays for that collector or dinosaur enthusiast you know. So go check out Dinosaur Skeletons and get your cast today. And of course, on the family tree, we have, if you look at it, we're looking towards the tyrannosaurs. You're going a little farther down. It's actually its own tree now, apparently, Nanotyrannus, which has Dryptosaurus and Appalachosaurus as theorized, or maybe not, which is why they have the little arrows going away from them. Dinosaur taxonomy is a nightmare because it's mostly speculation and arguing. But as you can see, it's a little on the end there, and it's right there. And it is a Animalia, Chordata, Reptilia, Dinosauria, Saurosuchia, Theropodia, Tyrannosaurida, Eotyrannosauria, Nanotyrannusaurid, and it is Nanotyrannus and lethaeus. We finally have lethaeus as the beautiful Jane. But moving on from this, its habitat, the Hell Creek Formation habitat was a late Cretaceous coastal floodplain with diverse environments, including swamps, low-lying forests, estuaries, lakes, and broad river systems. The climate was mild and subtropical, supporting abundant life. The landscape featured open woodlands in the upper uplands and denser swampy forests along rivers with a mix of flowering plants, ferns, and other plant groups like cycads and conifers. So it's a very wide array of habitats. And of course, the competition in its environment. Lethaeus, I haven't looked into it. Lysensis might be like a Horridus Perorus situation where one's just older, one's in the lower bed, one's in the upper bed. I haven't looked into that too much. So I'm going to say it's probably along those lines that Lancis was upper, Lethaeus was probably lower bed. Or maybe they lived at the same time because it was so late in the Cretaceous. I have no idea. I'd have to look into that further. But, of course, one of the major competitions in its environment was the behemoth itself, the tyrant lizard king, Tyrannosaurus rex. Of course, they lived alongside each other. Armidia, if I'm not mistaken, Gondwana was east, Armidia was west, if I'm not mistaken. But in North America in the late Cretaceous, they probably would have interacted. Juvenile tyrannosaurs would have probably been prey, if not competing with Nanotyrannus itself. And larger Tyrannosaurus rex would probably take the opportunity to kill Nanotyrannus and eat it if needed. The paleontological significance is abundant among anything. So it confirms higher Tyrannosaurus diversity. So coexisting the validity of Nanotyrannus lethaeus, the Jane specimen, as a second species within a Nanotyrannus genus, alongside the adult Lancissus, Bloody Mary, sick name by the way, means that the Hell Creek ecosystem supported at least 2 and possibly 3 different large theropods. You got Rex, Lancissus, and Lethaeus at the very close end of the Cretaceous. It challenging the monarchy. The discovery effectively dismantles the long-held belief that T-Rex was the solo apex predator in its size class, providing that the ecosystem was rich and more competitively complex than previously imagined. Refining the ontology growth of T-Rex. Misclassified data. For decades, specimens like Jane were the cornerstone of studies on Tyrannosaurus rex growth and behavior, representing the teenage, that's in quotations, phase the teenage phase of T-Rex. The reclassification of Jane as Lethaeus invalidates much of that research, forcing a fundamental reassessment of T-Rex ontology. The T-Rex vacuum. Paleontology must now find new uncontroversial juvenile T-Rex specimens that exhibit the fixed early development features of T-Rex, like low tooth count and robust skull structure. To accurately model its growth curve. As of now, very few such specimens exist. Establishes niche partitioning, ecological specialization. The morphology of lethaeus, slender, long-legged, agile with proportionally larger arms and different tooth structure, is distinct from the heavy bone-crushing build of T-Rex. A different hunter. This confirms that lethaeus likely occupied a different ecological niche, specializing in as a swift pursuit predator that hunted smaller, faster prey like mid-sized ornithopods and juvenile ceratopsians, juvenile hadrosaurs, smaller animals, whatever it could get its teeth on, if you will. While the T-Rex focused on massive, slower prey, this explains how two large carnivores could coexist without driving each other to extinction. Provides a near complete reference specimen, which is very rare. Jane specimen. As a holotype of the species, the Jane specimen is a remarkable, complete, and well-preserved skeleton, around 50 to 70% complete, especially its skull. This wealth of anatomical detail has provided the clear multiple lines of evidence, including tooth count, cranial nerve patterns, and forelimb size necessary to distinguish it from the T-Rex lineage. In summary, the recognition of Nanotyrannus lethaeus is a watershed moment in dinosaur paleontology, resolving a nearly 40-year-long debate and significantly increasing our knowledge of the late Cretaceous predatory diversity. And building on that, the Nanotyrannus, both species now officially confirmed, still people debating otherwise, but for the sake of this video, they are both valid genuses. With both of them being confirmed, one of the longest lasting theories and arguments that have been had about the late Cretaceous environment and dinosaurs potentially going extinct regardless of the KT extinction, evolving themselves out of existence. I don't want to say it's invalidated, but there is heavy argument against it now that the Hell Creek Formation is way more diverse than what is previously thought, with either one or both Nanotyrannuses existing in the environment, making it so that it's invalid. I really don't have any other way to say it. It's way more diverse now. 2 to 3 Tyrannosaur species, which there's evidence of those coexisting with Appalachosaurus and Gorgosaurus and Bertosaurus. Not Allosaurus. Tyrannosaurus can live together. Clearly, it's not like an uncommon thing, but this changes what we know about the late Cretaceous Hell Creek Formation, officially making it very, very difficult to conclusively say that the biodiversity, that the diversity of species within the Hell Creek Formation was dwindling by the end of the Cretaceous. It wasn't. The dueling dinosaurs, Jane, Bloody Mary, hold that concrete firm that the Tyrannosaur, that not even the Tyrannosaurs, that dinosaurs, if the KT extinction did not happen, if that did not happen, dinosaurs would not have dwindled. They would have continued to evolve, continued to have grown, continued to have changed. At least in North America is the main argument. But it would have continued to flourish and grow. But that is all from me. If you want to see more of my work, you can go check out Prehistoric Life Podcast on Instagram. and you can see additional posts, reels, etc., whatever you want to go see. Or if you're probably watching this on YouTube, remember to like and subscribe. If not, go check out the YouTube channel and like and subscribe. Or you can go to my website, go to prehistoriclifepodcast.com and check it out. And of course, if you want to support me further, you can go check out the Patreon. There's the $5 Triassic, the $7 Jurassic, the $10 Cretaceous. If you want to support me further and be able to, I really will funnel a lot of this money back into this podcast. Like right now, I'm currently saving to go do an entire Western expansion. I don't even know if that's the right word. That's not even the right word. Westward discovery, whatever. Film it and record it for y'all. It shows some really cool stuff out west. I have a couple guys that I've interviewed that I'm going to just go out and visit, including Clayton Phipps, the Hell Creek Hooligans, hopefully, fossil shacks, in stone fossils, dinosaur. I'm going to a store for Dinosaur National Monument if the government opens up and allows somebody to answer an email. You have Dinosaur Ridge that I do plan on visiting. So if you do want to support me further, please become a Patreon today. And a lot of that will just be funneled into making more content, to visiting at other places. And of course, if y'all remember last year, I had the prehistoric live event very, very late in the year. Not late in the year, but late in summer. I've bumped it up to May 1st and May 2nd, 2026 this year, or next year. So you can go ahead and get your tickets today and go get your tickets if you want to be there. Dr. Brian Curtis is coming back. One of the people I interviewed, Colin, is coming back. I think Sky is coming back. I'm going to see if Dinosaur Skeletons wants to come on. Somebody from Alaska might be there. Don't hold any of this as gospel truth, but you'll see ones that I have basically confirmed pop up, and I'll keep y'all updated with this. But please, if y'all are interested, go check it out. I'm telling you, it was a lot of fun last year, and it's going to be a lot of fun this year. So please go check it out and get your tickets today. And that is all from me for now. I am your host, Eric Crawford, signing off. This has been Prehistoric Live Podcast. And remember, keep it prehistoric. Goodbye.